What up? Welcome back to Epic's Dark Souls lore series. Now, as you guys know by now, the game itself takes place in Lordran, but the world is much bigger than that, and we've already talked a little bit about Thorland. That's one of the other countries. Today I want to talk about three more countries, Carim, Balder, and Berenike, or Berenike, however you want to say it. Carim is actually one of the regions that we know the most about. I can't really say kingdom, we're not sure if it's a kingdom or not, but let's call it a country. Let's just say country. It's one of the countries that we know the most about. So there's a very prominent figure in the game called Lautrec of Carim, Lautrec the Embraced, everybody's favorite bro from Carim. When the player first encounters Lautrec of Carim, he is locked inside a cell in the undead church. It's not really clear how he got his ass locked in the cell, but there is a channeler nearby, so he could be awaiting transport to Seath's archives for experiments or whatever. When you free him from his cell, he gives you a sunlight medal. Now, this leads some players to believe that he is a member of the Sunlight Covenant. He's not. He is not a member of the Warriors of Sunlight. He can be summoned for both the Gargoyle fight and the Gaping Dragon fight, but when you summon him, you can easily see he is a normal white phantom. He has the standard intro pose and everything. He's not a sun bro. Especially if you summon him next to Solaire, you can easily tell the difference. So why does he have a medal? That's up to speculation, but he's kind of an asshole, so he probably just ganked somebody and heisted that motherfucker. At first, after you rescue him, Lautrec appears to be somewhat grateful to you, although his voice actor does a great job of letting you know that Lautrec is up to no good. But if you talk to him a little bit more, he very quickly tells you to back off. He says, let's not get too friendly. He implies that the future is very uncertain. The first time I met him, I killed his sorry ass because he laughed at me the wrong way. But if you let him live, he will murder Anastasia of Astora, the Firelink Bonfire Keeper, and steal her soul. And after that, you have to invade his world in Orlando and fight him and his friends to get her soul back. So why did he kill Anastasia? This is a question that a lot of players asked. From his dialogue, it seems like his goal lies within Orlando. He just killed Anastasia for her soul, plain and simple. I don't know, just like most players kill off the NPCs for humanity or Firekeeper souls or drops or whatever before they move on to New Game Plus. He was done with her. He didn't need her anymore, so he killed her and took her soul. He's just that's him. There are some other possibilities, but frankly, it just doesn't seem to be a very deep thing. He coveted her soul and the humanity that it offered, so he took it. He's basically Yurt 2.0. But old Lautrec, he actually does have a really interesting connection. There was a goddess who is not in the game by the name of Fina. You can only read about her in item descriptions. In the description of the Ring of Favor and Protection, it says that Fina possesses fateful beauty. I'll also point out that my original translation of this item is the Ring of Divine Favor and Protection. Obviously that's too goddamn long, so it's the FAP ring. Lautrec's armor, the Armor of Favor, is also related to Fina. It says, during his long solitude, he forsook everything, for he believed in the goddess's love for him. We don't know if the solitude refers to his imprisonment or something that happened in his past, but it's pretty clear that Lautrec doesn't give a fucking rat's ass about anything but his goddess. This could be a plot line that they didn't have time to finish up, or just some extra world flavor that was included in the game. What do you guys think about Fina? Is this dropped plot line, or is she in the game? Maybe she's represented by the statue in the church? Don't know. This is really it's all speculation about Lautrec right now. I don't know. It could have been a dropped plot line. Some people might say that he took the Firekeeper soul to give to his goddess. Don't know. Just all speculation at this point. Okay, moving on. Carim is also home to Oswald, a pardoner of the goddess Velka. This is the one guy in the game that you really don't want to piss off. He can remove your sins, which resets hostile NPCs to a neutral state in most cases. So if you accidentally tag Stockpile Thomas with a Dragon Bone Smasher and Demon Souls, load up Dark Souls and beg Oswald for forgiveness. All that Oswald asks in return are souls. Tons and tons and tons of souls. Now, Oswald, the pardoner of Velka, is an inhuman swordsman. His mask symbolizes a separation from worldly desires. He sells tons of items relating to Carim and Velka. Oswald himself isn't too interesting, but Velka, who is not in the game, is very interesting. First off, before I talk about Velka, let me address this. There is a text dump of the game from the Xbox 360 version that contains all of the game's dialogue and item text. And in the text dump, there are a lot of things that were ultimately cut from the final game. One of the things that appears to have been cut is Velka's Covenant. But before you get your panties in a wad, check it, G. Shit gets cut from every game ever made, and for a variety of reasons. Sometimes content is cut to avoid delaying shipment of a product, sometimes due to quality concerns, sometimes due to something just not quite meshing with the rest of the game. Now, Velka is all about punishing the guilty, just like the Darkmoon Covenant. It seems pretty likely to me that the gameplay functionality of Velka's Covenant was combined with what ultimately became the Darkmoon Covenant. Check the link below for the amazing Michel Kobayashi's edit in progress of the text dump. And yes, I think that the Dark Souls community, pound for pound, is the best on the net. I mean, you got E-Dub's videos, Phrexus, Quelaag, Kobayashi, Sansvie, and tons more amazing people. Hell, a couple crazy guys named Caroso and Abolian TV recently did over 10,000 damage in a single hit, even though the previous max was thought to be around 8k, so don't fuck with them dark bros and dark sisters, man. I tell you what, it's a great community. Anyway, back on topic. Sorry I got sidetracked a little there, but let's talk a little bit about what we do know about this badass goddess Velka. First, as we can see from the Karmic Justice miracle, she is a black-haired goddess, and her role is to punish those who sin.
By the way, if you want to use Karmic Justice, try blocking with an upgrade Bone Bill Shield and see what happens when you get swarmed by enemies, and tell them Epic sent you.
The Vow of Silence miracle further reveals that she is a rogue deity, versed in both the new and old arts. She also has a lot of influence, even for a god. Through the Book of the Guilty, we learn that she is in charge of the lists of the guilty who betray covenants or the gods. These are the future victims of the Blades of the Dark Moon. This is supported by the indictment, which is sold by the bishops of Velka. So yes, that is at least 2 churches that have bishops. It's still far more likely for Havel to be associated with the Way of White, but we don't know for sure. And that also means that Oswald is a bishop. Nifty. Velka also has a talisman associated with her. Velka's talisman draws its power from the user's intelligence instead of faith. Miracles are basically the magics of the gods, but Velka seems to have some differences from other gods as this goes, rewarding cunning rather than piety. The Ring of Sacrifice was also created using the secret rites of Velka. Velka as a rogue deity. What does this mean? Okay, tinfoil hat mode. Everything that follows is my speculation and my speculation alone. I'm putting an annotation to let you skip it if you so desire. Okay, here's what I think. Velka's duty is to punish those who betray their covenants with the gods. What would happen if the gods themselves broke the covenants? How about war between the gods? Intrigued yet? I started thinking about all this while I was in the painted world of Ariamus. In the painted world, there are a number of things that are feared by the gods. The Dark Ember is there. It creates occult weapons used to hunt the gods and their followers. It was hidden there by the church, possibly the Way of White. Additionally, Priscilla was sealed in the painted world because the gods feared her life hunt ability. So basically, the painted world exists as a home for forbidden things that are dangerous to the gods. there are things here that would be used to hunt the gods, but who would hunt the gods? Well, it's here that you find the corpse of a bishop of Velka, Velka's rapier, and one of her miracles, Vow of Silence. So, also players experienced with the Dark Moon Blades will also probably be aware that the Harpies of the Painted World sometimes drop souvenirs of reprisal, which are needed for that covenant. So, was Velka's agent protecting the Ember or Priscilla, or trying to capture their power for his black-haired goddess? Also, the peculiar doll that was clutched tightly by Priscilla and pulled her into the Painted World, could this be connected with the goddess of Carim? How does Aramis fit into the picture? Lots of fun speculation to be had there, but I kind of feel like Velka hunts the guilty, and if the guilty happens to be a god, I don't think that's gonna fucking stop her. So, alright, in speculation here. Carim is associated with a variety of creepy homies. Lautrec and Oswald are just the tip of the iceberg. The grandpapa weirdo from Carim is Earl Arstor. Now, we only know about him through item descriptions, but that's probably a good thing. This is one bad fucking cat. Check out the Purging Stone description. Ash-colored stone encasing a skull. Secret treasure of Arstor, the Earl of Carim. Humans are helpless against curses and can only redirect their influence. The Purging Stone does not dispel curses, but receives them as a surrogate. The stone itself was once a person or some other being. Sacrificing bros to get rid of the curses, man. Arstor is also responsible for the creation of the Bite Rings, so the Blood Bite and Poison Bite Rings, which are sold by Oswald of Carim, and also the Curse Bite Ring, which can be found in New Londo. Their descriptions speak of dreadful rumors surrounding their creation. But hey, they get the job done. Arstor is also responsible for the creation of the Shottle. The Earl was a man who knew how to get shit done. And that kind of leads us to talk a bit about the fighting style of the Knights of Carim. I'm not talking about the Pardoners, but the Knights, like Lautrec. They prefer to fight without a shield, as we see from the parrying knife description and Lautrec himself. Lautrec dual wields shottles, but occasionally swaps to the parrying dagger to get up with the Cadies, you know. The final piece in the arsenal of a Knight of Carim is the sniper crossbow, which is used by the Knights for long-range combat. Oh, and I almost forgot, the red Tearstone ring is also from Carim. This is the offensive version of the Tearstone. So, if you want to RP a Knight of Carim, get that favor set, dual wield some shottles, throw in a parrying dagger and a sniper crossbow. For rings, you've got the Fap ring and a Bite ring, or a red Tearstone. Keep some Purging Stones with you and you're the Earl of motherfucking Carim, dog. You don't need a shield because you're a boss. Despite the fact that we've already dropped an entire video worth of info, ENB can't stop here. We've got a bad reputation to uphold. I've still got Pringles and Coke, so let's talk about the Kingdom of Ballers next. The only named character that I know of from Baldur is the Night King Rendal. He isn't in-game, he's just a badass legend from item descriptions. His face is on the silver coin. You find his ring in Sin's Fortress, and he was a baller. This dude stared down a big-ass drake and cut it up, yo. Meleeing a full-grown drake like Helikite is pretty fucking baller. His ring is not bad for a first playthrough if you're doing a fat rolling tank. Full Havels, the Fap ring, and the Ring of Steel Protection makes you pretty stout before New Game Plus, if you're looking for an alternative to the Darkwood Graying Havel combo. Baldur was an old kingdom, but it fell to ruin after a large outbreak of the undead popped up. The Knights of Baldur can be fought as undead in the game. Some of them use normal rapiers and bucklers and they will parry your ass, but others use special gear from their kingdom. The Balder Side Sword, or Balder Swag Sword as it's lovingly referred to by the community, is one of my favorite weapons in the game. It specializes in thrust attacks, and for a quick weapon with good range, it also does really good damage. My favorite normal shield is also from Balder. The Balder Shield, I almost called it the Balder Side Shield, the Balder Swag Shield. The Balder Shield is tweaked for stability, and it does a great job when it's upgraded. Many people like the Black Knight Shield or the Silver Knight Shield, but I'm a baller for life. It just looks too fucking cool. And the Knights from Balder also use light crossbows. You know, that asshole in Sin's Fortress? Yeah, baller baby. As an update, I'm out of Pringles, but I still have Coke, so we can continue. The Knights of Berenike. You can face off against a lot of these homies in the game, and believe me, you will know them when you see them. Big dudes, tower shield, big ass weapons. Yeah. I haven't confirmed any named characters from Berenike, although Black Iron Tarkus is often mentioned in the same descriptions as Berenike, so he's probably from there. But Berenike may actually be the name of a person rather than a place. Check the shield of Berenike, the tower shield, and it says his. So I haven't checked the Japanese description yet, though. The Crestfallen Merchant may be from Berenike, as he wears this steel set, the same set. However, he also sells Catarina and Balder stuff, so he may have just stolen it from a corpse. Tarkus is probably from the Kingdom of Berenike as well. The Great Sword description says that it's a favorite of the Knights of Berenike, known for their heavy armor and Black Iron Tarkus. That's some confusing fucking English right there. Is it a favorite of the Knights and Tarkus? Or are the Knights famous for heavy armor and Tarkus? Ah well. At the end of the day, it's motherfucking Tarkus, and he solos bosses without healing because he's a badass. So there's one more realm that needs to be talked about. Actually, there's two more now that I think about it. I've been completely forgetting about Catarina this whole time. My bad. So there's two more realms that need to be talked about, but I'm out of Coke, and they deserve their own videos anyway. Astora is a major country. It's the home of Andre, Anastasia, Soler, the elite knight from the beginning, who everyone calls Oscar. I guess that comes from a game guide or something, but you guys know me. If it ain't in the game, I don't count it as fact. The cut dialogue seems to confirm it, but whatever. There's also Prince Ricard, who wears Astoran armor, but whatever. There's also Catarina to talk about still, so that's two more kingdoms at least that I need to talk about. But it's fucking late, as in 7 a.m. been up all night late. Your bro is dedicated but sleepy. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised. I honestly don't know what lore to talk about next. Maybe Astora, maybe Catarina, I don't know. Suggestions are always welcome. I read the comments even though I haven't been able to respond to everyone recently. You guys know how it is for me by now. Never enough time to chill. Whatever. Later, you beautiful motherfuckers.